You're the Lion of Judah. You are my Lord and King. You're the Lion of Judah. You reign over everything. You're the Lion of Judah. You are the great I am. You're the Lion of Judah. Rule over all the land. You're the holy, mighty, worthy of the glory. You're holy, mighty, worthy of the glory. That's why I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name. Come on and put those hands together. Hallelujah. You're the Lion of Judah. You are my Lord and King. You're the Lion of Judah. You reign over everything. You're the Lion of Judah. You are the great I am. Lion of Judah. You rule over all the land. You're the holy, mighty, worthy of the glory. The holy, mighty, worthy of the glory. That's why I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name. I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name on high. I lift your name. Hallelujah. Come on, let's lift the Savior up. God is worthy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Help me lift him up. Help me lift him up. Help me lift him up. Higher and higher. Help me lift him up. Help me lift him up. Help me lift him up. Higher and higher. Oh, yeah, yeah. Help me lift him up. If I be lifted up, higher and higher. Oh, yeah. Help me lift him up. He's worthy of all the praise. Higher and higher. Help me lift him up. He's worthy of all the praise. Help me lift him up. Higher and higher. Help me lift him up. Hallelujah. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28 and following reads just like this. I'm sorry, media people. The Lord just moved me in a different. And it reads like this. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them which have no might he increases strength. For even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
They shall run and not be weary. Some of y'all don't know where to shout. They shall walk and not faint. I just want to talk about all you need to know. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. All you need to know. Have you ever not known what to do? Have you ever been in a situation where you were unsure as to which way to go? Have you ever felt that you were at the end of your rope, that there was nothing left for you to do, that it was totally out of your hands? That's where the children of Israel are, these people whom Isaiah is writing to. And he says to them essentially that at the end of your rope, that when it's out of your hands, that when you've done all that you can do, that's exactly where God starts to do for you what you can't do for yourself. That when you can't figure it out, God has already worked it out. Hast thou not known? Have you not heard that the everlasting God, that is the God who is the Alpha and the Omega, that is the God who is the beginning and the end, that is the God who created all that there is and is the summation of all that there will be. Do you not know that he fainteth not, and neither does he become wearied? And then Isaiah immediately juxtaposes it to those of us who are human. He says, for even the youth shall faint and be weary, and young men shall utterly fall. Which then presents us with a conundrum. Since we get tired, we get weak, we fall, we falter, we must then place our trust in one who does not get weary. We must place our trust in one who is not worn out by the sands of time. We must place our trust in one who can handle the day-to-day trials that you and I face. We must place our trust in one who is not wearied by the ordeals of the day. Isaiah says that even when you get tired, you need to realize that there is a God who's not tired by what you're going through. I think I better say that one more time. That even when you're out of answers, God has not lost his answers. That even when it's out of your control, that it's still in God's hand. That even when it's over your head, it's still under God's feet. Have you not known that the everlasting God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, fainteth not, and neither is he wearied? Which is why you ought to learn how to go to sleep at night. Because you get tired. And your staying up all night long is not going to do anything for what you're worried about. And since God is going to be up all night long, you might as well go to sleep anyway. I mean, if he's going to be up, I ain't got to be up. If he's super ruling over the entire world and he is perusing all that there is, I don't have to keep a watchful eye. If his eye is on the sparrow, I know that he can keep a watch over me. And I don't know who I'm talking to today, but maybe you need to learn how to trust God with that which you're worried about, because being that he's higher than you are, he's able to handle what you're worried about. He fainteth not, neither is he wearied. In fact, he does this. He gives power to the faint. Let me stop right there. Because what Isaiah is literally saying is that when you have no strength to continue your journey, lay down and allow the Lord to give you power in the midst of what you're going through. Are you hearing me today? It says when you don't have any strength, God has all the strength that you need in order for you to make it a little while further, that when you're out of power, that God gives you a download of his power that you might be able to run on a little while longer. Y'all are not getting it. I have an iPhone, and I stay on my phone a lot, talking, texting, social media, read my Bible. If I lost my phone, I'd lose my life because everything is right here. As a consequence, my power declines every so often. The most frustrating thing is when I'm away from a power outlet to have my battery power to go down. It happened to me one day while I was in the airport. And I said, "Dog, I need to make a call," but I didn't have any battery life. And somebody said, "Well, why don't you go get you a Mophie?" I said, "What's a Mophie?" A Mophie is a battery pack that when your phone battery power declines, you connect your phone up to a battery pack that has alternative power. You click on the on button, and where your phone was deficient, the Mophie makes your phone have more power in the midst of your situation than what it had before. Now, I'm not talking about iPhones and battery packs. When you connect your life up to the power source of the eternal God, your battery might be on E, but when you hook up to the Holy, he'll give you power, he'll give you strength, he'll give you everything that you need to run on a little while longer. And I'm looking for somebody here who can testify that I thought I wasn't going to make it. I thought I would have fainted had it not been for the Lord adding power. Is there anybody that had to raise some children and you thought you were at the end of your rope raising them, but God gave you power? Is there anybody here going to testify that you thought you couldn't take one more day at that doggone job, but somehow between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock when you arrived, God gave you power in order to do what you had to do? Is there anybody who thought you just couldn't wake up another day? You just couldn't take it, but God touched you with a finger of love and gave you just what you needed in order to face the day? Somebody ought to thank God that he still gives power. He gives you power to love your enemies. He gives you power to raise your children. He gives you power in order to keep your family together. He gives you power in order to keep on moving. He's a God that'll give you power. Isaiah says he gives power to the faint. And to them that are without might, he increases strength. That is, when you're not strong enough in order to push the burdens of life that you are having to find yourself encumbered by, that he builds your spiritual and existential muscles so that you can then lift that which is trying to weigh you down. Let me come back at it again. He says, to them who have no might, he increases strength. Let me say it again. That he expands your capacity. That he lends his strength to your struggle and makes you stronger than what you were before. Y'all still not getting it. It is very literally the picture of a bodybuilder. The bodybuilder is lifting all the weight that he possibly can stand, but then they put another weight onto the weight beam, and the bodybuilder finds himself struggling to lift it. At the moment that the bodybuilder struggles to lift the weight that he is attempting to lift, he has a spotter who comes up behind him and says, keep on lifting it. I'm not going to, and right when the bodybuilder gets to where he can't take no more, the spotter takes the weight and lifts it for him so that he can get the power. That's the same thing that God does in your life. When you think you can't lift it any further, you ain't by yourself. God gets right under that weight with you and say, keep on lifting, keep on struggling, keep on lifting it higher. I'm not going to let it fall. And before you know it, you come out stronger and wiser and better and able to is there anybody who can look back over your life and think about all the burdens that God allowed you to lift, and you didn't think you could lift that burden, but God was your spotter and he helped you to lift that one, and then a bigger burden came along and you didn't think you could lift that one either, but then God came behind you, he helped you to lift that one, and then you got a bigger burden and you didn't think you could lift that one, but God was up under you, and now you can say, I got more strength than I used to have. I can pray better than I used to could pray. I've learned how to trust God, how to get in my word. For those who have no might, he increases strength. Oh, I wish I had somebody who could be a real saint in here today, who could testify that there was some stuff I used to couldn't handle, but I've learned how to lift it now, because God increased my strength. There were some battles that I thought I would lose, but God gave me the victory. He increased my strength. There were some obstacles that I have today that back 10, 20 years ago would have taken me under, but I thank God he increased my strength. He increased my strength by putting me on my knees. And I found out on my knees you get some power in order to lift some burdens that you would not have had otherwise. He increased my strength. I learned how to speak the word over my situation because he increased my strength. And I learned that when my mama's word didn't work, that when my daddy's word didn't work, that when grandmama's word wouldn't do me no good, God gave me his word. And I learned not to be afraid of what the enemy throws at me, because I got some word on the inside of me reminding me that he'll increase my strength. Is there anybody here that knows when you speak the word over your life and over your children and over your situation, something's bound to happen? I wish there was somebody in here who knows that when you just begin to believe by faith that I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength, you'll find that your strength ends up increasing. Is there anybody that knows when you proclaim over your life, greater is he that's within you than he that is in the world, you'll find yourself increasing in strength. Y'all got to forgive me today. But oh, when I look back over my life, I see how he's increased some strength. Oh, yes. Stuff I thought I'd never have to face. But through it all, my strength got increased. I wish I had some praying church in here. I wish I had somebody who could talk back to me today and who could testify that I never thought I could make it through breast cancer. But on the other side of chemotherapy, on the other side of radiation, he increased my strength. I wish somebody would testify that I never thought I could make it through a foreclosure. But on the other side of foreclosure and bankruptcy, I found that I had more strength than I had before I went in it. I never thought I could make it without a job, but on the other side of it, God increased my strength. And somebody ought to give God praise for an increase of strength. Somebody ought to give God glory for an increase of power. I may not have everything that I used to have, but I got more strength. I might not live in the house that I want to live in, but I got more power. I might not have the job that I've dreamt about, but thank God I know how to pray more. To them who have no might, he increases strength. For even the youths shall faint and be weary. And young men shall utterly fall. This is Isaiah reminding them that no matter your status, that you still are living under the curse of humanity. That no matter how strong you think you are, there's something that even will break you with your strong self down. It don't matter how vigorous you are. There's something that can outrun you. And whether you are in your tenacious 20s, whether you're in your Titanic 30s, regardless of whether you're in your ferocious 40s or your fine 50s, your sassy 60s, your sagacious 70s, your enticing 80s, you never thought you would make it 90. Something will tire you out. For even the youth shall faint and be weary. Young men shall utterly fall. I found that out. I'm not going to go through my own personal testimony, but what older people would say to me 10, 5, 7 years ago was totally right. There are some things that can zap your mental and emotional and physical power. Don't think that because you saved and sanctified that you won't get tired and weak. Don't think because you working in church and you working for the Lord that you don't get tired sometimes. Even the youth shall faint and be weary. And young men shall utterly fall. That is, you'll fall sometimes. You'll do more than scrape your knee. No, you'll have some scars that you'll have to live with. Young men shall utterly fall. You don't get out of youth without making some mistakes that you look back on and regret. Young men shall utterly fall. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Because the reality is that if you've lived to not be included in the youthful crowd, you got a testimony. Now, whether you tell your testimony or not, it is up to you. But the fact is, even the youth shall utterly fall. That all of us will face our own ground zeros. That all of us be forced to live in the aftermath of our lives being shambles. That all of us have to face the crises of life. But even in the midst of having to put your life back together again, here is all you need to know. That some things you've got to wait on. But they that wait. God doesn't move on our time frame. That God moves on his time frame. And when life goes to zero, you want God to hurry up and put things back where you want them to be, where you dreamt them to be, where you're praying for them to be. But sometimes you gotta wait. Don't stop praying because you're in the waiting room. Don't stop serving because you're in the waiting room. Don't stop doing what is right because you're in the waiting room. Sometimes you gotta wait. You gotta wait even while you're being faithful to God. Sometimes you gotta wait on God to heal you. Sometimes you gotta wait on God to restore your joy. Sometimes you've gotta wait for God to lead you to green pastures and through still water. Sometimes you gotta wait. David said, I waited patiently on the Lord. And he inclined his ear unto me. Sometimes you gotta wait. You can't hurry God. Sometimes you gotta wait. You gotta trust him, hear me, and give him time. No matter how long it takes. I'm trying to help somebody today. For he's a God that you can't hurry. He'll be there, but you ain't got to worry. He may not come when you want it. I don't know who I'm talking to today. He may not come on your time frame. He might not come right after you say amen. But if you keep on waiting on him and keep marking time, he'll show up. And whenever God shows up, he always shows out. I wish I had a praying church in here today. Sometimes you got to wait. You got to wait for things to come back together. You got to wait for the road to even out. You got to wait for God to mend you in your broken places. Sometimes you've got to wait. But remember that they that wait on the Lord, that the exact opposite happens from when you're waiting on mere people. Are y'all in here with me? When you wait on people, you might be disappointed. When you wait on people, you might find yourself being embittered. When you wait on people, you might find yourself getting downright mad. But with God, the exact opposite happens. Can I tell you why God puts us in the waiting room every now and then? God puts us in the waiting room so that we can renew our strength. That God makes us wait because he says you've been running so vigorously. So every now and then I'll place your life in the waiting room so that you can be renewed at the place of your power. God literally says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Here it is. He'll give you new strength again. Are y'all in here with me? If you learn how to wait. Now, the problem is we don't like to wait on God, which is why a lot of us are living on day-old strength rather than the brand new strength that God wants to provide for us. But if you learn how to wait on God, God will give you new strength again. And I don't know who's in here, but you're at the end of your rope. My word to you today is God has new strength for your struggle. Last week's strength is gone. You did all you could do last week, but God has a new strength for your very life. Give you new strength if you learn how to wait on him. It's kind of like those disciples who Jesus told to go over to the other side, and a great storm arose. And when that great storm arose, the disciples, they began to panic. They began to panic because Jesus was not on their boat. But Jesus was the one who told them, go to the other side. And right at the moment that they were panicking, they looked out on the stormy sea and they saw what looked like a ghost walking toward them. Somebody said, no, that looks like it could be Jesus. Jesus began to talk to them while he was walking on what they were afraid of. I wonder, did Jesus allow the storm to rise in their existence after he told them to go to the other side, just to give himself time to catch up with their journey? Sometimes I wonder if God allows storms to come into our lives so that it would give him time to catch up with us. because we're too busy trying to go on our own schedule. And so God allows a storm every now and then, not to overtake your ship, but to allow him to catch up with you, because you don't pray like you ought to pray in the absence of a storm. You don't read your Bible like you ought to in the absence of a storm. But when a good storm arises, and I wish I could talk to somebody in here today, because we know when you have a boo, because we stopped seeing you at church. But when a storm arises, it catches up with us. He said, I'll renew your strength. They will mount up with wings as an eagle. That is, I'll give you flying power. I'm just reading the Bible to you today. I hope y'all don't mind, but I just want to read the Bible to you, okay? He says, I'll give you eagle strength. And eagles, the beautiful thing about eagles is eagles are able to fly above their storm. And when he says, I'll let you mount up like the wings of an eagle, he'll say, what was meant to destroy you, I'll give you the power to fly above it. Some of y'all don't know when to shout. If you learn how to wait on him, he'll give you the wings to start flying above some stuff. In fact, that's why many of us are here today, because God gave us strength to fly above some stuff. They thought that what we went through was going to take us out, but he'll give you wings. You ought to high five somebody and tell them he'll give you wings to fly above some things. He'll give you wings to fly above your haters. He'll give you wings to fly above your failures. He'll give you wings to fly.